Hello everybody, it's Wendy, and today we are going to make a necklace using some beautiful Jesse James beads and this brand new ombre chain. So wait till you guys see this chain. It is so pretty. First of all, our encouraging word for today is each day provides its own gifts. All right. And our gift today was we went to visit the tax man and found out that we possibly could have owed a whole big bunch of money, but he has a way to help us not owe a whole big bunch of money. So yes, we are very excited about that. So, yes, look at this chain. These are little pieces of the blue one. So this is the red, and oh, look at this. It is so, so pretty. So here it is, this ombre, and it goes into this, you know, it starts as the red and it goes into the ombre like the silver and the darker. It is so cool. So that's the red one. There's a pink one. And they sent them with bead mixes. Now, I don't know if they come with bead mixes on the, I don't know if they're sold as a kit on the site. I need to get on there and look because I definitely want to get more of these. Look at this one. Isn't it beautiful? Oh, I love it so much. And okay, so the red is with the Gunmetal Roses kit. So you can use it with this. Okay, so we've had this kit before. So I don't think it comes with this, but look how pretty it looks with it. So the red can go with the Gunmetal Roses. The pink can go with this Rose Gold kit. Wow. So, so pretty. Look at that. And there is a Unicorn Bliss kit to go with this beautiful one right here. Oh my word, look how pretty. Look at that, isn't that so beautiful? I love this chain. So today we are working with this teal, blue, green color chain. And we're using the Ocean Mix, okay? The Ocean Mini Mix. So here's what you're going to need. I'm going to show you everything. I have two lengths of the chain. So 2 whole things of this, okay? 2 of these. So you'll have to buy 2 if you want to make it the way I'm going to make it. And that's what I've cut them into pieces. So this first piece is going to be we're going to do a 2-strand basically, but it's going to be 2 layers. They're not going to connect. So this one is 5.5 inches, this little part right here. And I wanted to make it, the key with this chain, a lot of people are like, I don't know how to use it. The key with this chain is you have to know how to cut it, okay? So it's got these little, see that little loop there? And those little loops connect right into these little holes right there. So if you want your loop to be whole, you have to cut these little holes on either side of here and then just pull this out, and that will leave your loop whole. If you need that part, like we have on the other end here, then you just cut the loop part and then pull it off, and then you've got your little intact little hole there. So what I've done is I have cut them both. I've started with the dark and gone a little lighter, and then the light and gone a little darker, and I have the loop on each end, okay? And that's going to make part of the bottom layer of our necklace. So 5.5 inches, and that's how I've cut them. I have 2 lengths of Coriana chain, and these are 12 inches, right around 11 3/4, and I might cut them a little bit shorter. I'm not sure, but I just wanted to have enough. So I have 2 pieces at about 11 3/4, and then these 2 pieces of chain at the 5.5. Did I say 5.5 or 5? Thought I said 5.5, but I could be. Yeah, 5.5 inches. Okay, so that you're going to need. This is the Ocean Mix. Okay, and I'm going to be using, for this bottom strand of the necklace, I'm going to be using these 2 large rondelles out of the Ocean Mix. I've got 4 head or eye pins. And these are, I think, 2-inch eye pins. Let me make sure. Yeah, 2-inch eye pins. Okay, 4 of those. I've got 2 of the opaque AB coated rondelles, 2 pearls, 1 little gold spacer bead, actually 2 little gold spacer beads, and these 4 bead caps out of the ocean mix. Okay, so all the beads came from the ocean mix that I'm using today, this little ocean mini mix. Okay, so we've got that, we've got the beads, we've got these. I'm trying to get everything for this layer. It's a little bit hard to remember everything. Okay, I have 2 12-millimeter jump rings. One is going to be for the end of my necklace and a lobster for it to clasp onto. This one is going to be down at the bottom, and we're going to hang some things from it. So the things hanging from it are going to be these 3 pieces of Coriana chain. Now I've got this cut at right at about 3 inches per piece, and they don't have to be exact, but 3 pieces of Coriana chain at 3 inches. I have got 4 of the spacers, the little gold spacers out of the box of the ocean mix. I have a few little jump rings here. These are small thin jump rings that I believe will go through this. I'm going to try them. If they don't, I may have to pull out something else, but you will need kind of a thin jump ring to use with this chain. What else do I have? I have this bead from the mix, the ocean mix, and these beads from the ocean mix. So I know I've got several piles of beads here. The reason for that is these are for my connectors over here. These are for my ring in the middle. These are for my dangles. So, and this is for my dangle. So dangle, these 2 little white ones, these 2 opaque rondelles, 2 pearls, 4 of the regular gold bead caps, and 2 of the gold spacers. All this, the beads came from the ocean mix. So these are for my dangles, these are for the ring, these are for the connectors, okay? And that is everything that you're going to need for the bottom layer of this necklace. So let's go ahead and let's create the bottom layer, and then we will... Actually, you're going to need a couple of clamshell connectors and crimp beads as well. I'm sorry. And the clamshells, these are just the 2mm and the size 2 crimp beads. Okay, that's clamshells and crimps. Okay, I think that's everything. All right, so what we're going to do first. Let me set all this aside for a minute. Now, this is totally up to your own creative control what size you like to make this, how long you want it to hang, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to take these 2 pieces of my enamel chain, my chevron chain, and I want to do the dark to the light and the light to the dark. I just think that that looks really good and is going to give a good contrast. I'm going to take one of my 12mm jump rings, and I've got my 3 gold spacer beads here, okay? And I've got my 3 pieces of Coriana chain. So here's what I'm going to do. This is not hard, but it's just kind of... I'm going to open that jump ring up. And then I'm going to take my 3 crimps and my 3 clamshell connectors, okay? I'm going to put a clamshell connector on the end of this one. I'm going to put the little crimp on. Now all this crimp does, you're not crimping this like you would like normal tiger tail or bead stringing wire, that you need the crimp to fold over and separate the 2 pieces of wire. All this crimp is going to do is hold the clamshell on there, okay? So don't get too close to the edge, but, you know, I come down just a little tiny bit there, and I'm going to smash it down. Now, there's a couple, you can smash this so hard that you cut your chain. You don't need to do that, okay? Just smash it hard enough to where it won't move on there, okay? And then just close your little clamshell up over it. Give it the tug test. If it does not move, you're in good shape, okay? We're going to do that with all 3 of these. And I like to use the little clamshells and crimps on this beading chain because I feel like that they are very professional looking finish. So again, just scooting. I don't scoot all the way to the edge because I don't want it to cut it's likely to cut your chain if you're all the way up on the very end. So pull it, it's not coming loose, close it right up. Okay, there's two. One more. This guy right under here. Put our clamshell, or our crimp bead on, and my clamshell fell off the bottom. I don't know why I picked them up first. You don't have to on this. You can just put the little crimp bead on like this, and then put your clamshell in like this, and it makes a lot more sense, but I don't know why. For some reason, I always pick up the clamshell. Tug it. It's tight. Close it up. Now, I am going to see if these will fit directly onto here. I'm not sure if they will. I may just have to attach them with a jump ring. They look like they should, but that doesn't always mean anything. So just closing the clamshell up really good, and oh yeah, they will hang right on there. Okay, cool. So I don't have to use jump rings to put these on with. I'm just going to hang them right on. Just trying to line up the little holes there. Can't seem to get it to. There we go. I'm going to just hang it right on here. Now, I'm putting one on, and then I'm going to put one of these spacer beads on. And then I'm going to put another clamshell on. And the reason I'm doing that is I just want them to hang just a little bit apart to where they're not just right on top of each other. Okay, there's that one. It is a little bit of a tight fit on there. If you wanted to use jump rings, you absolutely can, but I think it'll be fine like this. Putting another spacer bead, and then I'm just going to put this last one on. Okay, and then I think I am going to put a spacer bead on each side. So there's one there, here's one here. Okay, now I'm going to close this up. And just make sure that you close it really well so nothing's sliding out. And there is that. Now, we're going to take our beads here, and we're going to create some floating dangles. So, this guy I kind of want to hang in the middle. So let me look here and see how I want to do these. I want them to definitely be offset from each other. So like this one, I kind of want to put up at the top. Maybe this one here. This one up here maybe. And then I could go down here with, well, let's see here. Let's do him down there. How do I want to do this? Yeah. That guy there and this one there, but I forgot about him. No, I don't want him beside him. I just want to make it to where they're not all right beside each other. So that's what I'm trying to do here. We could put this guy here and maybe that guy there. That looks pretty good. I kind of want to know if I should put something on. Maybe I should just scoot him and leave it hanging, or I want to do this. Maybe I want to do this. Scoot him up a little. I may do that. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this bead on first. And then this one. Okay. Then I'm going to put a crimp bead underneath. And I'm just creating a floating little some floating dangles here. So I'm just coming down just a little, and I'm just going to crimp this bead down. You don't want to crimp it really tight. Again, don't cut your chain. It just needs to hold the beads in place, okay? That's all. So there's that one. And I'm going to do this one. So I'm going to put the bead cap on. Whoops. It'd help if I did it right, wouldn't it? Put the bead cap on this way. Then the rondelle. Then the other bead cap. And I'm not putting a bead above. You can if you want, like where you want it to stop above the bead. But when you've got it on, it's going to hang down anyway. So gravity's going to be pulling it down. So I'm not going to worry too much about putting it a crimp bead above them. See if I can get it on the bottom. They're hard to... Tiny, tiny little guys here. Get on there. There we go. Coming up, I'm going to come up right about... I definitely don't want them to hang all together in the same spot. So I'm going to put it right about there. And then, as you can see, when I pick it up, I may have to hang these with jump rings because they're sticking out funny. We'll see here in a minute. Okay, so there's that. That's pretty though. I like that. Okay, now this middle one, I want to do this guy. So again, I'm going to try to stagger him with these other ones. I am going to have to hang those on jump rings. They just look bizarre, sticking out like that. I don't like that. So let me do this. At least these two outer ones are going to have to go on a jump ring. Let me find a little jump ring to put them on here real quick. Just so they don't poke out like that. They look weird. So let's go ahead. Put this guy on a jump ring. That'll make it lay a lot better. And I know I could have just closed the jump ring up and then put it on there. I don't know why I do things the way I do them. I make it hard on myself, I think. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Okay. We'll do that on the other side too. Okay. Alright, so now for this middle one, I'm just going to take these off for now because it's just really too hard to... And I can see just by laying this here kind of how I want this to go. Okay, so this one, I definitely want to put him kind of right here in the middle maybe. So let's put him on. And yeah, I want him to go right in the middle of that. So I'll go ahead and just put my crimp on. On one of the last videos I did, somebody felt the need to tell me I'm crimping wrong doing this. I know that is not how you normally crimp. But the point of this is not to crimp normally. It's to hold this bead on the chain in the place that you want it. So yeah, I'm not trying to crimp to like really crimp, you know. I'm just using it as a stopper for the bead. Then this one goes on. And another crimp. Okay, just like this. Except for I am butterfingers today. There we go. And I'm going to move this down just a little so he'll hang kind of down lower. And I'm just smashing it down. Nope, that one didn't get tight. I thought it looked kind of weird, so if they don't get tight, you have to do it again. Sometimes I press it down and it's crooked, and that's what that one did. Okay, here we go. Okay, come down here, smash it. Just make sure it's tight, but it's not cutting your chain. Okay, and there's our second one. Alright, now, do I want to hang him on a jump ring? I don't think I do. I think I want to hang these outer ones on jump rings. Just so they'll lay right, because they were looking, yeah, that's going to look really pretty. Okay, and let's put this guy on. Yeah, that's going to look really pretty. Okay, So now for our last one. Here it is. So we need a bead there, and I need a jump ring. I've got a couple different widths of jump rings here. I'm just trying to make sure that I get one that's thick enough that it looks like it's gonna hold well, but not too thick. And I'm gonna hang this one on. I'm gonna go ahead and close the jump ring up. Make it easier on myself. I don't know why I do that. And then I'm gonna put the second bead on here, this last bead spacer. And then I'm just going to close this whole thing so that I can work with it a little bit here. And I won't have to worry about everything falling off. There we go. All right. So now we need to do our other side. So I definitely want the bead caps up at the top and this guy up at the top. And then we'll do maybe, I may do it like that. So let's go ahead. Lay it out here, and I'm going to put my crimp, or I'm going to put my bead cap on, and then my rondelle. So bead cap, rondelle, and bead cap. And this guy right here. Whoops. Okay. I'm going to come down just a little. I want it up near the top, but I'm going to come down just a tad there, like that. Pretty. This is going to be really pretty. Now this one I want to hang right about here. So I'm going to do my pearl and my little spacer. Come on now. You know what? That spacer might slip right out over the crimp bead. We'll see. And then put the crimp bead on, because the spacer has a pretty big hole in it, actually. Scoot it down right about here and crimp that flat, and I'll see if that'll hold that spacer. I don't know if it will. He may go right over top of it. No, he's not. Okay, that's good. Okay, and then we're going to put the clear one on last, down toward the bottom. And we'll have our little decorative dangle done. Okay, right about here. And there it is. Really, really pretty. Look at that. I love it. Oh my goodness. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take two of the jump rings, the small ones, and we are going to hook this jump ring on here and hook our chain, excuse me, directly onto it. Just like this. Okay, and close that up really well, because that little chain will slip out of the space on your jump ring if it's not closed up really good. So just make sure you have it closed up really well. I think I do. I'm going to have to get my magnifier out here. Can't see. Okay, and I want to make sure that this one is closed up really well also. The big one. There we go. Okay, so there's one side of our chain. Now we're going to do the same thing with this other one. Just hooking it on here and hooking our chain right on. Like this. And I'm just rubbing that back and forth. When you feel the metal touch together, then you know your jump ring's closed good. All right, now why are we twisted? Here we go. All right, so there is what we have so far. Now, I'm going to make a couple of bead links to add on right here. And then we're going to hook our Coriana chain on after that. So I've got my jump rings here, or my eye pins, and my beads. Now, what I want to do here is maybe pearl, spacer bead. I don't know if these will all fit on the one eye pin. I could do, that's pretty, isn't it? I could do a piece of wire. Or I could just take the spacer bead off, and that might be enough room to where I wouldn't have to use a piece of wire. We'll see. It's very, very pretty. I think I am going to use a piece of wire just because it will feel more secure. I'll be right back, just a second. Okay, so here I have some 20 gauge gold wire, and I definitely, I think, want to make wrapped loops here. So here's what I'm going to do. Get my round nose pliers. Okay, so I am going to bend it 90 degrees, okay? And then I am going to take my round nose pliers, and I'm coming up and over, rotate up, and go under. And we have the perfect little loop. And I made it kind of big. Do I want it to be that big? No. Let's go down. See, the bigger you make it on your plier, or the higher up you go on your plier, the bigger the loop's going to be. I don't want the loop to be that big. Okay, this is much better. Yeah, and then I'm just going to take it, and I'm going to wrap. And this is how you can make a link if you need more room than you have on your 2-inch eye pin. This is 20 gauge wire. I'm just wrapping around a couple of times. Trim that. And if it's snaggled, you can tuck it. Just like that. Okay? Now I'm going to put my beads on. So I've got my pearl, my spacer. I'm going to try something though. I'm going to do the pearl and the bead cap this way. And then this big bead. And the bead caps, I'm going to face the bead caps away from these beads and see if that looks prettier. That's pretty cool. You know, I think I like that better. I like them coming down over the small beads. That's really cool. Okay, so we're going to, again, bend 90 degrees. I come up just a little bit from the bead, bend 90 degrees, grab with my round nose pliers, come up and over, rotate up and under. And then I'm just going to wrap a couple of times. One. I always wrap down toward my bead because that makes this a nice tight little link. Straighten up my little loop there and trim this right off. Tuck it in. And there we have it. That's super cute. I like that. Now I'm going to take the jump rings, a jump ring on each end of this, if I can get them apart. Yeah. And I'm going to hook it right onto the chain. So as you can see on this one, I did not cut my loop. And on this one, I had the poke out part, you know, and I didn't cut that. So you just have to be careful how you cut this chain. There's so many things you can do with it, but you just have to be a little bit careful how you cut it. So let's see, I think I want to go the lighter part on the bottom, and I'm just going right through the little hole there. Whoops. I dropped the whole thing. Sorry, a text came in and it distracted me and I just dropped the whole thing. Let's do that again. Doesn't take much to distract me, not at all. Okay. let's go right in here. Hook it right on there. Make sure that your jump ring is closed really well. And that's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. We're going to do the same on the other side. So again, cut our little piece of wire here. 90 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and make the loop up and over, rotate up, come under, and then we're just going to wrap a couple of times. If I can get a hold of it. And you can take your little wrap here if you want to, if you feel like it's spread out too much, and you can scrunch it right up there. I do that often. Okay, and we're going to put our beads on. So we've got this guy, bead cap, the big bead, the bead cap, and the pearl. That is such a pretty link. Okay, and same thing over here, 90 degrees. Come up and over, rotate up, under, and we're just going to wrap down toward the bead. And trim right off. Okay. Tuck this. Make sure it's not snagging out. You don't want it grabbing your clothes or anything else. Okay, now let's scoot this down. We're going to put this right on here, just like we did on the other side. Right on the little loop in the chain there. I may need to open my jump ring more. Nope, it went. And right here. And then just close this right up. Okay, so here's what we have so far. It is very pretty. I'm liking it. Now, you have to measure how long you want this to hang on you. We are going to do another layer of this. I like this to be a little bit long, though. So I think I'm going to leave my Coriana chain the length that it is. And remember, we measured and it was right at 11 3/4. Almost 12 inches. So I'm going to take 2 of my crimps and 2 of my clamshell connectors. And we're just going to attach this the same way that we did down there. So you want to put your clamshell on. You want to put your little crimp on. This is super simple. Just like that. Crimp this, flatten it down. You're not crimping, you're just flattening it. I need to say that because people think that I think I'm actually crimping, and I don't. Okay? I do not think I'm actually crimping. All we're doing is using a crimp bead to be a place stopper. So, yeah, I know I'm not really crimping here, okay? I'm just using a crimp bead. It can be used for multiple things. You can use jewelry things for different. You don't have to just use it what it was intended for. I mean, let your imagination go. Get out of the box. Okay, so there's that one. Let's do this one. Same thing. Come right up here, crimp it down. Pull it, make sure it's not going anywhere, close it up. Okay, now we're going to hook these on with the jump rings, just like we've been doing. Trying to make sure that all my jump rings match. Some of them look different than others. I've probably accidentally mixed them up in containers and whatever, but All right, so here we go. We're gonna put this guy right on here and hook it right on here. And close it up really well. There we go. Same thing on the other side. Wow, this chain, it's so pretty. Okay. Now, hold it up on yourself. Make sure that it's where you want it to hang. And I am going to have to cut a little bit off here. So let me grab where I need it to be. Oh, it has my hair tangled in it now. And I'm going to cut mine right about here. Okay, so that actually makes my Coriana chain quite a bit shorter than I thought I was going to need. But sometimes that's the way it goes. So now if I measure it, it is right at 6.5 inches. 6 inches, 6.5. And to put our clasp on, we do the exact same thing we've been doing with our clamshells and our crimps. So we're just going to take the clamshell, put it on, put your crimp bead on. You can also, if you think that it doesn't seem secure enough or it bothers you somehow, you can put a little dab of glue in it. If you put a little dab of V6000 in there, it'll never come apart. But I just tug it. It's usually, I don't have any trouble with them coming apart. So there's that one. I am going to do the same on the other side. Okay, just like this. I don't know if you all can hear all the racket in the background. My RoboVac is cleaning. And he's making a lot of noise today. All right, so we're going to hook the Lobster clasp on with one of our jump rings. Whoops, those are cutters. We don't want to do that. Okay, so right on here with our Lobster. And then we're just going to go directly on with our, if this will fit, that is. If it'll fit. I think it will. I think we determined that down there that they would fit. It's a tight squeeze, but it fits. Maybe. You have to have the things lined up exactly or it has an issue. And I can always put it on with a jump ring if I need to, but nope, there it goes. Okay, I'm going to close that up. Now this is the outer layer. Now we're going to make a choker layer. Okay, so this will be the outer layer. And I'll put this all on a form here in a little bit so you can see it. But there's our dangle that we made, the outer layer. And now we're going to do a choker layer. So for this, I've got my 2 pieces of chain. I have them cut just like I did before with the little loops here on this end and the little holes on the other end, okay? And I think I'm going to go this way with it. We're going to take our big ring here and I'm going to hook them with jump rings right on. Just one second, I've got to trim this one up piece. That little hole part was open. See, this little part right here is open. I've got to trim this to where it's not. So that's the tricky part with this chain, is just getting it cut the way that you need to use it. So I just need to trim this little piece right here. And it's not always the easiest thing to do, to get in there with your cutters. It needs to be trimmed off so that I can use the little hole. There we go. There we go. It flew off. But there is the little hole. In fact, I've still got a piece of the loop on it. tiny, tiny little work here. There we go. Okay. And that hole is still intact, I do believe. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take jump rings like I did on the others. And I'm just going to hook this right onto this. And then we're going to take an eye pin. And we're going to make a little dangle here. So actually, do I want to use a head pin or do I want to use an eye pin? I debated dangling a couple of these down from it, but I don't think I'm going to do that. Let's grab a head pin. Just a regular head pin. It doesn't even have to be a big one. And let's do this. Let's do spacer bead, this guy, and this spacer bead, since we have these spacer beads that we didn't use on the other thing. And I'm just going to make a wrapped loop. So 90 degrees. Taking my pliers, coming up and over. And I know there's not a lot left here to wrap with, that's fine. As long as it just goes around enough to secure it. That's really all I'm worried about. So I'm just going to take it around once. And come around here and just tuck this part in if I can. Yep, that works just fine to make a little wrapped loop there. Okay. And I'm going to hang this bead on here with, I think I will use a jump ring just to give it a little dangle effect. So it's not too up there, and so it, you know, kind of hangs a little loose. So we're just going to put it on the jump ring, close it right up. Okay, and then we're going to take these and hook them directly to our chain, just like we did before. So this guy over here. And this guy over here. I just love this enamel chain. It is so pretty. So let's close this right up here. This ombre effect is just, it's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous chain. So unique too. Whoops. Cannot get my jump ring closed. Can't get a hold of it to get it closed. I'm having issues today. There we go. Come on, why are you being so difficult? I know, I can tell that it's not closed all the way. And it is giving me problems. It's because I'm using a tiny, tiny jump ring, but I like to use the smallest ones that I can. I doubt anything's going to come out if I can't even get it to... But I just want to make sure. Oh, for heaven's sakes. Okay, well, I'll go back and fix that in a minute. I don't want to make you sit here while I fight with it. Okay, so this is a choker style. I like my choker style necklaces. When I make them 15 inches, not counting the clasp. So I had cut 7.5 inches per thing. And now we're going to put the clasp on. And I don't like chokers to be super tight, so I'm okay if it's just a little, you know, it doesn't like choke you to death. I don't want it to choke me to death. I just want it to be cute and hang up there close to the neck. So I'm just putting my clasp on here. I'm just putting my lobster on just like I did on the other one. And if you find that it's too long, or you know, you just have to measure your own neck to decide how you want it, but you can always, you know, take it off and trim it down a little if you need to. I am going to use a jump ring on this other side. I'm not going to try to put that little piece of chain through that. That would be hard. So let's put this jump ring on. There's our lobster clasp. Or a ring for our lobster to clasp. And here is our other little piece. So I am going to put this whole thing over here on the form so you can see it. So it's definitely 2 necklaces, but can definitely be worn together. So let me put it on the form and I'll be right back. Okay, so here we are in my light box, and here it is, and I love this. I think it turned out so pretty. I love this ombre chevron chain. It's just beautiful. And it hangs down, you know, it's going to be a choker style at the top and then hang on down. And I just love it. I think it turned out great. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please like it and subscribe to my channel. And I will link jessijamesbeads.com below in the description box, and you can get on there and find all of these beautiful products from Jessie James Beads. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.